Hi everyone, again welcome back to the Cyber Posture Live show, which started as an initiative to spread the awareness in terms of cybersecurity, cyber risk posture. And in this week, we have someone very special. Last few weeks, we have seen a lot of aspects of how cybersecurity fits into the fintech and what are the different needs in terms of cybersecurity and fintech. How innovation and cybersecurity is kept as a balance. Why cybersecurity is a need in the fintech. Today's session is a bit special. While we are heading towards Global FinTech Fest from 5th of September, uh, we want to touch point on a particular aspect which we believe in and have a great passion towards it, which is the cybersecurity needs in fintechs, which essentially means what is that the fintechs are looking for in terms of cybersecurity so that they can continue their innovation and the massive impact that they're creating. To have a discussion on this on today's Fireside Chat, we have someone who, in day-to-day in day-to-day, interacts with these people, interacts with this fintech giant, interacts with these customers on their cybersecurity needs. Today, we have with us Mr. Soham Mitra, who is the customer experience manager at Zeron and who, on a day-to-day basis, interacts with this fintechs to understand what they are perceiving, what are their needs, how they want to make the cyber post better, and a lot of other aspects as well. So, first of all, thank you, Soham, for joining us on this fireside chat, and a warm welcome from my side.
Thank you, Sanket, so much for the nice words. Really looking forward to this conversation. And as you mentioned, like this daily to daily activities at Zeron has been a really great experience so far for me. And yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Great. So, to start off with, right, I'll start off with very basic things. And few of the questions to laymanise for everyone, for the audience. The first question is there are a lot of cyber risk, right? What are the fintech companies seeking when they're looking at the cyber risk posture management to ensure the effective risk identification and mitigation of those risks? And to be very specific on the Indian context.
Sure, Sanket. So basically, Sanket, I would like to take a step back and introduce the evolution of finance, to be honest, and like how the term fintech evolved. So I'd like to start from the basics, how it happened, right? Correct. So even in the ancient times, right, there were nothing like banks or any other banking systems, correct? So right from the ancient times, how finance evolved was through a very simple system, which we all know is the basic barter system, right? Where finance used to be transacted with the transfer of goods. Then human beings evolved, they started making coins and notes, right? Which eventually gave rise to an accounting and banking system. Then came the evolution of stock markets. Then came the evolution where they needed the money to be transferred across the border, right? That's where the first wire transfer came into place in the 1800s. Right now, after that, like the globalization happened, and then came the online banking platforms and so on for transferring money with the boom of internet, correct? And after that, fast forward to now, with the evolving technologies in place, we have so many things like the blockchain technology, the DeFi or decentralized finance, upcoming new banking platforms, and so on. So being a part of the human race, I'm really proud that how far we have come and how far we can go. Have faith in how far we can go. So based on your question right now, what I personally feel is like the particular fintech institution. So what is fintech? Fintech is nothing but leveraging technical solutions to seamlessly, provide financial solutions. That's where fintech comes into play. And in the day-to-day journey, as you mentioned, it like makes me feel really happy that all the fintech sector companies are taking this cyber risk posture at very importantly, as like it's going to be an integral part of their organization. So based on your question, right, So, what are the fintech companies seeking in terms of cyber risk posture management to ensure effective risk identification and mitigation? Correct. So, here I feel they need to be aware of the risks that their organization can be prone to from the beginning itself. Okay, they need to be aware of the huge loss that those risks can impact. So based on that, we can divide the risk into four factors, right? One will be the internal risk of the organization, the external risk, then the compliance mandates, and also their particular cyber value at risk, which they need to identify. And based on that, they have to take regulatory actions to mitigate them so that their the data breach probabilities or their cyber risk posture can be improved in a much better way. Correct. Yeah.
Well, very nicely portrayed, I must say, right? I wasn't expecting the backstory, so it was pretty well defined. So, having said that, when you talked about the regulatory aspect, in India, we have seen the regulators coming up with a lot of things right now. And for fintechs, while they're dealing with innovation, having this benchmarks or the baseline is also important. Now, how do they align with this regulatory alignments? What are the things that the organization look for when a regulation comes in, or the regulations that are previously there? Like, what is the thing that you have interacted with the people that you have seen how they are perceiving this particular aspect?
Yeah, so what I personally feel after interacting with so many customers in a day-to-day basis, I felt like they have to be informed about the changing regulations in the specific financial industry, correct? And based on that, they have to take the necessary steps to implement those regulatory compliances that are coming into place. Like they have to be prepared about the reports, audits, and evidences, correct? So they have to stay agile with the cybersecurity practices and promptly accommodate to this changing landscape and evolution of threats at present, right? So they should have proper tools at place. They should have proper employee awareness and training sessions, correct? So that would lead to safeguarding their particular industry or organizations cyber posture aligned with the regulatory compliances that SEBI or RBI are updating on a day-to-day basis, right?
And with the interaction with the fintechs, what do you think is the stature of or the maturity of cybersecurity in this organization? Like they are good in terms of maturity, or they're lagging too behind, or is it like they have a baseline, or is it like they don't care? Which one?
Yeah, so I feel it's somewhat in the middle after interacting with so many fintech customers, right? They are trying to take the particular risks what that are happening or the compliances that are emerging on a day-to-day basis, right? But for some reason, for some lag or some glitches in the system, they are not able to stay up to the mark which is required at the current moment because the world is moving at a huge pace. But still, the process of adaptability among the fintechs is still somewhere lagging behind, which I feel, and that needs to be addressed at the moment so that there are no risks in the future.
So while you have been interacting, the fintechs who are big, right? You have been interacting with these people. What do you see in terms of their readiness, or what are the strategies? Because it's they just a second. Yeah. So what are the different strategies that they already have in place, which is helping them with their cyber resilience? What are the different things that you have seen with these clients?
So yeah, Sanket. So basically, they have their old drafts, correct, which is somewhat to some extent okay. But right now, with the evolving landscape, so with the new compliance controls coming into play, with the new bills being passed, they have to update their particular drafted policies. So what I feel most of the organizations are lacking right now is the idea of filing, auditing, and reporting is scattered to some extent. Nothing is being originated from a singular source, right? So that whenever a new audit comes into place, Like they are going haywire with the documents somewhere, with the evidences somewhere else. So what they exactly need right now is a particular platform or a particular solution where they can make their particular drafted policies up to date. Okay, and at the same time they should have their audit evidences ready in the same solution platform or something like that. So whenever their final audit happens, right, so they should be ready with each and everything at one place. And about the documents which I mentioned, right, they should also need to have some proper suggestions to enhance their documentations as per the current industry standards, which are lacking because they think they have drafted something in the past which is going to stay for the next 20, 30 years. But that's not happening right at the moment. Every year something or the other is coming into place, and they have to stay updated with those mandates or compliances so that their organization stays safe and at the same time is regulated with the governing bodies such as SEBI and RBI.
So my question to this particular this question was, what is that you have seen that is working for them? I understand the gaps, but what are the things that is working for them? Like these are
Yeah,
the things that they have done that's working in favor of them. What are the different things that you have seen?
yeah. So what I feel what's working in favor of them is the particular expertise they have, the particular security teams they have right now, which have upped the game so far. To be honest, right. But again, I feel still there is that lag which should be improved, and there are more scope of improvements in the industry right now.
Got it. So just to put on those points with my interaction as well with few of the customers that interacted or have done the user research on these parts, is that they have different solutions which is working for them, but they're not having the clarity on aspect like which one is bringing what efficacy to them, right? Where are the investments that is it actually bringing value to them, or they're just getting the loop of audits and filings and all those things, right? So do you feel that fintechs are a bit bogged up with only the regulatory things that they have to do and just doing those minimal things and not looking at the bigger picture?
Yes, exactly. I got your point, and that they are not looking at the bigger picture actually as of now. But with the evolving threat landscape as well as the regulatory landscape, with the upcoming new compliances in place, right? So they have to look at the bigger picture in some day. Maybe not today, but tomorrow is still at threat. Correct. So the gaps that you just mentioned, to some extent they have the existing solutions, but they don't have the clear picture or the clarity of exactly what's going inside and what's going externally, so that they can make an informed decision about where to invest, what to implement, or like how to build that employee awareness strategy. So currently that particular gap is still there, which needs to be leveled up right now.
Got it. In the meantime, audience, please feel to drop down any questions that you have in the comment section, whichever platform you are in. Right, we'll take those questions up. So, Soham, Zeron is coming in. We are going in global fintech fest, right? And you have been in the part where you have been planning the things. So, what are the different things that people can expect when they are coming in GFF? What are the fintechs that they can expect?
Yeah, so basically, once anyone from the fintech industry is coming to the Global Fintech Fest, Zeron should be their one-step solution for each and every needs that they have in the cyber risk posture industry. Correct. So we'll be setting up a booth at E6 and E7. Correct me if I am wrong, Sanket. So here you will get a demonstration of exactly how our cyber risk posture management platform is mitigating the trust gaps between the various stakeholders, right from the CXOs to security teams to the CIOs and CISOs, and then how we give them a clear picture and a clarity of a single dashboard where we show all the relevant KPIs and KRIs to make informed decision making regarding their cyber risk posture. So it's not only a one step, right? So we have our own defined ABCD modules to explain each and everything in detail, and at the same time jot down all those pointers, take each and every critical aspect of those modules and showcase that in a singular dashboard, which can help the upper management as well as the like security teams to take informed decisions and like improve their cyber risk posture in the upcoming threat evolution landscape. So whoever is coming to Global FinTech Fest on the 5th to 7th, they can expect a huge improvement in the cyber risk posture once they take up Zeron. And mind wife words once again to everyone out there. Once you start using the Zeron platform, there is nothing like any other thing, right? And there is no turning back. That's for sure. And as Sanket also mentioned, right? So we are also evolving at the same time, at the same pace. The industry is going. The industry is growing in like terms of artificial intelligence, machine learning, and something that is still there. Like it's like kind of a hidden treasure, or rather, what we say is our in-house, AI known as the Zen, which is named after Geoffrey Hinton, right? So Zen is a breakthrough factor, like in terms of the compliance and mandates and the regulatory, responsibilities of any organization. So just come to our booth, have a look at it, and we'll explain each and every bit of cyber risk posture management at a glance.
Great. So we have a question here from Mr. Vishal Nandakumar. He's asking, do you think existing solutions should change in the way cybersecurity silos are implemented by looking at the bigger picture? Just to answer that question, Vishal, I don't think it should change. The solution should change because if we talk about an XDR, if we talk about a source solution, if we talk about a SIM solution, all these are required in organizations for a maturity level, right? I don't think the existing solution should be changed, but how it's perceived and what's the conclusion you draw out of that is something that organizations need to work upon. Soham, what's your point on that?
Yeah, I agree to you, Sanket. So the existing solutions will portray or give whatever they are supposed to deliver, right? But it should be the ownership of these solutions to also change according to the industry needs, so that they can cater to a bigger picture in the upcoming future, right? So they might be targeting a specific landscape right now, but maybe today or tomorrow, with the evolving landscape, they have to step a foot forward, right, in implementing some other solutions attached to it, maybe include new features, and get ahead of this landscape that we are facing. We are in that evolution phase, right?
Right. Uh, okay. So we have another question. Okay, nice. What are some common misconceptions or myths about cyber risk posture management that you often encounter among fintech professionals, and how do you address them? That's a very interesting question. So, over to you on this question.
Yeah, so some of the basic common misconception and myths that we have is like, once you have got a policy drafted in the past, that's gonna stay there for the next 10 years, 20 years, and you're not gonna change a little bit of that. And there sometimes it also happens like they're not open to suggestions, and they think like whatever they have drafted in the past, okay, it's still gonna work for the next upcoming future. That is one common misconception. Then again, people mix between they have a mix between all the different solutions that they are using, like as Sanket mentioned, XDR, CDR, source. So they feel that once they have implemented all those solutions, their organization is fully secure, but which is not the actual use case. They might be implementing a lot of cybersecurity solutions, but like they are not actually aware of their business value at risk and exactly which areas to invest so that they can improve the cyber risk posture. So these are some of the common myths or misconceptions that I face like while talking to the fintech professionals. So that's where we are here to break those myths and misconceptions and introduce Zeron to make a better informed decision making in future.
Okay, so this is a question that I was asking, which Soham very smartly skipped. But Arthur again has this question where he is asking, are financial institutions more focused on mandate and compliances than on actual risk management?
Yeah, to be honest, from the financial institutions, like from the customers I've interacted, right, most of them are about like what are the different kind of mandates your product categorizes to, or the compliance frameworks that you can provide to us, right? So it becomes a challenge to, like, get them to know like exactly these financial like compliances and regulatory mandates are fine, they are needed, which is really needed. But like you also need to have an idea of what is your organization's external and internal risk, like, and what is that particular risk, like, how much it is impacting your organization. So what is that cyber value? They need to have a clarity on that, otherwise they can't take informed decision, because they might be drafting thousands of policies, right? As Sanket just mentioned, like they might be drafting thousands of policies, but if your cyber risk posture or the particular defense mechanisms that you have in place is not up to the mark, those policies are not going to help. Correct. Just a piece of paper can protect your organization from, like, all the external attacks and internal attacks. Correct. So they have to be informed about the defense mechanisms as well. I hope that answered the question to some extent.
Yeah, so we have another question from Mr. Waris Zaya. His question is, how quickly are Indian fintech organizations adapting to DPDP bill?
So basically, I feel that data protection and data privacy bill that just passed recently. So organizations are aware of that, but still there is a gap in implementing the same. Okay. So here I would just like to touch on a few things regarding the new DPDP bill. So what it says, like some of the basic 5 pointers, as I can see, like based on what I have studied so far. So it's like monitoring the compliance, then imposing the penalties. So most of the people are also not aware of the penalties so far, what's going on, what's going to be the consequences of a breach of that data if that data gets breached, right? Then providing the directions for remediating and migrating the data breaches. Again, what I mentioned, it's not only the piece of paper that's gonna define your cyber risk posture. You have to be aware of the defense systems, right? Then what was the inquiry, like, you have to inquire the data breach scenario, which you should have in place a proper incident response in plan, right? Then hearing the grievances, exactly why that particular breach happened, what could have been the like measures that they should have taken from the beginning itself to prevent those risks. So they have to be aware of these things before even implementing the DPDP Act in their particular compliances or controls.
Got it. So, just to add on to that, right? So, for the DPDP to actually come into place, there is a bit of time. It would like take around a year to for that to become effective. But as per the experience, people have started, and there were organizations who were started long back on implementing, but there are a lot of areas that work where work needs to be done as well. Correct. So we have a very interesting question, and this is with respect to the profession that you are in. It's from Mr. Tajdar Alam. How do you view the intersection of user education and cybersecurity awareness in enhancing the overall customer experience? Should they be trained beforehand, or do they gradually learn? I love this question.
So I feel thanks Tajdar for thanks Mr. Tajdar for bringing this up. So like I absolutely love this question, to be honest. So as what you mentioned, right? So here there are two particular steps I feel. So first of all, with the current awareness, all the employees in the organization from the bottom to the top, okay, everybody needs to be aware of certain practices beforehand. Okay, because those are some of the standards that already the cybersecurity industry or this particular global landscape has set up. So you have to be aware of those particular scenarios beforehand. And then comes to the part of gradual learning, just like Sanket mentioned, right? This DPDP Act is going to take a year. So it's not possible to learn each and everything or train the employees each and every aspect of that bill from now onwards. So throughout the journey of that 1 year, that DPDP bill coming into place and the various technologies being implemented, so gradually we also have to welcome those learnings rather than staying in the past of whatever we have achieved. So you have, so like, as you can't be stagnant somewhere, you have to gradually improve yourself, but at the same time you need to get your basics right. So I hope, Tajdar, that like summed up your questions.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions. We're short of time. We'll just take uh, one last question, probably, and then we will wrap it up. So, next question is from Shomoji. He's asking, what are challenges that organizations face in improving their cyber risk posture in the face of increasing sophistication and complexity of cyber attacks?
Okay, so what are the challenges organizations face in improving their cyber risk posture in face of increasing sophistication and complexity of cyber attacks, right? So first thing is first of all, they need to have a particular solution in place, which is lacking in most of the organization, that is able to properly detect all the external attacks that are happening on the organization. They need to have a list of all those particular vulnerabilities or the exposed domains, or in more technical terms, what we call the exposed ports, and like what are the various technologies based on which their domain is set up, right? And what are the particular vulnerabilities related to those particular technologies that they are using, which we call like the CPEs, right? So that information is missing in most of the existing solutions to some extent. So they have to incorporate such a tool or a solution or a platform which will keep them informed about all these particular vulnerabilities which they have to fix or patch in hand at the moment, right? So that this particular complexity of cyber attacks can't disrupt their existing organization's cyber posture.
So I'll just add on to that, Samujit. The biggest challenge that any organization face when they want to improve their cyber risk posture is the analysis of the financials. Right? They do not exactly know where exactly to invest the money and where not to, and they do go on to do each and everything that's needed and end up burning a lot of money. Where at the end, when they actually need to do something, they do not find the budget for that. So the analysis of the financials is a part which most of the organization faces challenge while they are making their cybersecurity strategies. Right. So there are a few more questions. Shoham, I would request you if you just go to the exact platforms and answer those questions on later, right? But really, thank you for your time, man, and hoping to see you in office on Monday, right? And people, whosoever is watching this, do visit us at the Global FinTech Fest from 5th to 7th of September 2023 at Geo World Center, Mumbai, booth number E6, E7, to experience the brisk of cybersecurity. Till then, have a great time and keep in mind that security matters. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, Sanket. Have a nice day. Bye.
Yeah, bye.